Welcome, climate viewers. Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News and weathermodificationhistory.com, talking about them chemtrails and wildfires. So this has been one of those longest running memes ever. You know, the chemtrails are making all the wildfires bad. And it's all because aluminum, raining down on us from jets spraying. And I'm always going, we got to get to the truth on this. Like, there's got to be more there. Now, is it true that aluminum is coming out of planes and raining all over the place? Yes. But if we don't look at the other problems, like what chemtrails actually are causing wildfires, then we're never going to be able to do something about it. So I want to start very pragmatically with this. And just like the previous video we did, U.S. Air Force admits chemtrails, adulticide. The overwhelming response from people were, I had never even heard of this thing, let alone the fact that the U.S. Air Force Reserve at Youngstown Air Force Base has a aerial spraying unit that sprays pesticides and herbicides all over the country at night, during the day, while you're asleep. It comes in your house. People don't even know about this stuff. And similarly, the pictures of those, spray nozzles and the bottles in those planes are used to justify that commercial planes are chemtrailing us. So I want to break down another type of chemtrail that really doesn't get enough attention and should get more attention, because guess what? This is probably in your neighborhood. This is probably affecting your water. You're breathing it. It's happening. We're going to get into all that and more. Go to connect.climateviewer.com to connect to ClimateViewer News, weathermodificationhistory.com, ClimateViewer Maps on climateviewer.org, all of my social media. If you don't like YouTube, follow me somewhere else. All my things are there. I greatly appreciate it. So let's go straight to the heart of the matter. What's really causing the wildfires? In summary, herbicides, Agent Orange, glyphosate, Roundup, and a whole bunch of chemicals you've never heard of till tonight. We're going to go through them in detail. This is over on climateviewer.substack.com. Link is already in the details and probably pinned in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. Herbicides can increase the risk of wildfires in a number of ways, including dead vegetation. Herbicides can leave behind dead stems of foliage and foliage that can increase the risk of fire in the short term. Removing competing plants. Removing plants can make forests more susceptible to wildfires. For example, forest companies use herbicides to remove aspen trees from spruce and pine crops, which can deprive moose of winter food source and make wildfires more likely. Aspen trees are less likely to burn than spruce or pine and can cool the forest, so firefighters may even seek out aspen stands if a fire shifts. But if there are no aspen trees around, guess what? Firefighters burn up. Fire burns out of control. Killing slow-burning trees. Some herbicides like glyphosate can kill slow-burning trees, which can make forests more vulnerable to wildfires. Creating monocultures. Herbicides can create monocultures, meaning only one type of plant or tree, by killing all broadleaf plants, which can increase the risk of wildfires. So why is this important? Because when you look at the big picture on this, people don't really think about aerial spraying of herbicides, why they say they're doing it, and all of that sort of stuff. And I want to bring this to everybody's attention tonight. That's what this video is about. Aerial spraying of herbicides and what's called hack and squirt, or cut and treat. Most people, 99% of you have never heard of hack and squirt. So we're going to definitely get into that, along with a bunch of videos and stuff too. So let me hop over here real quick. I've heard it for years. Chemtrails are making forest fires. Here, I'll turn it right here. Let me bring this over here real quick. Forest fires are more often intense superficially. This seems like a silly claim because most people assume that when you say chemtrails, you mean clouds made by planes. However, the truth is often scarier than fiction. In my previous article, I covered 2,940 page FOIA from the U.S. Air Force detailing how C-130 aircraft were using chemical trails to fight mosquitoes, disease vector control, and drop herbicides, modern Agent Orange defoliants, and how local municipalities were using ground-based trucks with foggers to chemtrail your local neighborhood. Today, conspiracy meets reality regarding forest wildfires. Very few people are aware of how the logging industry and forestry management services are using aerial spraying of herbicides and ground-based machinery in addition to manual hack and squirt and cut and treat methods to kill trees, leading to tinder boxes ripe for wildfires. We will explore all three methods and why they matter. So, why are herbicides causing intense wildfires? From fighting invasive species to making money in the logging industry, there are many reasons why people claim the necessity of removing trees, even deer hunting. Like that one was kind of shocking to me. There's a whole lot of YouTube channels on doing hack and squirt in the southeast where I live. I live in South Carolina for deer hunting. You can't make this stuff up. The necessity of removing trees, underbrush, and plants from forests. Loggers don't want trees that don't make money, so they kill trees that would compete with their cash crop. Others claim they are doing this to increase biodiversity or to stop non-native plants from spreading. In all cases, killing plants and trees are actually accelerating the chance of blistering wildfires. Case in point number one, boom. Bring this back over here real quick, put this up here and go here. Grooming the forest could be making wildfires worse. Pretty bad. Glyphosate sprayed on forests kills slow-burning trees, leaving more flammable species vulnerable. All these links are in the details on the Substack. I'm not going to read them all to you. This is the Pesticide Action Network North America. Herbicides to fight forest fires. Well, you know, what the hell's up with this website? You can't zoom on it. Doesn't want to let me use my thing. Anyway, the truth is herbicides will actually increase the short-term fire danger due to dead stems and foliant left behind. Mastication shreds the surface fuels, laying down and speeding up decomposition process. The Forest Service has proposed herbicide use despite several recent court rulings against it. And they have this group called Californians for Alternatives to Toxics, CATS. Shout out to Cat, Mellow Cat. She knows who she is, who lives in California. Y'all should definitely get in touch with each other. This is really troublesome. Forest herbicides, monoculture drives wildfires, harm wild species. This is from 2019. I mean, FFS, this is literally from 2002. Okay? Most of the videos that I'm going to show you guys, they have less than 300 views. Like, I find, the most awkward stuff, and it's interesting to me. But this is the real story nobody wants to talk about. Herbicide, killing of aspen, likely shares blame for growing wildfire damage. Also in 2019, it was I guess there was a big story about this in 2019 that nobody really caught. That this was a deep, as Stella put it, bottomless pit of info. I just want you guys to know the only reason that this video is so late tonight is because I started working on this on Thursday. I became so quickly overwhelmed with information that I did not know what to do with all the information. And then trying to put it into some form of, some narrative format on Substack so that it made sense, in order without overwhelming with just spewing data became very troublesome. So today, honestly, I think I spent probably 6 hours today between trying to help outside and trying to write the article, working on a house next door anyway, doesn't matter. Hell of a day. So with that, I put together 2 different playlists. One is called Aerial Herbicides and Forest Fires, where you can literally just, see the people who are spraying it, and there's some great presentations on that. And the other is a playlist for Hack and Squirt, specifically. How to kill unwanted trees. Now, like I said, all this is in here, but the important points are highlighted, that basically researchers have a growing increasingly critical of a common forest management practice, as studies show that it may be causing fires to travel farther and faster. Why is that? Because, glyphosate can be effective in eliminating the growth of hardwood trees for decades, that spraying thousands of hectares of public forest with glyphosate each year promote profitable coniferous growth. They want the pine trees to grow so they can make more money, and screw any of the short little, wiggly trees, because they don't make as much money off of them. And they don't give a damn about how that affects you. This video is pretty damn good. The tainted forest. And let me see how much of it I can play without, I'll get past this music real quick.
Beautiful forests and fish-filled streams are known as a paradise for nature lovers, but this is also one of the finest timber-growing regions in the world. With 30 million acres of forest land, Oregon's timber industry generates $13 billion in sales each year. But in the town of Triangle Lake, some residents worry that timber industry practices are exposing people to harm.
I want to see one of those again, right here.
Erin King and her family moved here 6 years ago. They bought a 1-acre farm, wanting to raise their kids close to the land.
When we found this place and were able to move into this place, we thought we had found it. This is it. This is where we're going to be the rest of our lives.
King knew she was moving into a timber area, but there was something she didn't realize.
I knew that clear cutting happened, but I did not know that the helicopter spray happened.
This video shot by King shows the typical industry practice. After a clear cut, helicopters spray a potent mixture of herbicides to kill everything on the forest floor except Douglas fir seedlings. By eliminating plants that compete for sun and water, timber companies can grow the trees faster and harvest more frequently. Residents like King complain they're repeatedly exposed to potentially harmful chemicals through the air and possibly the water.
From up here on top of the ridge, what you can see is the big picture, really. They're spraying with helicopters all these ridge tops, and so everything they're spraying.
Take a look right there at the big gray patches of dead standing trees. It's mind-blowing.
Up top eventually gets down to all of these residents.
Concerned for her family, King said,
and it all ends up in that lake you saw there. I mean, it all runs off. So that's their drinking water.
As she tried to find out what exactly was being sprayed.
They give you a really long laundry list of what they could spray that day, but it doesn't tell you exactly what they're going to spray. And just knowing when they're going to spray would be incredibly helpful. That way I could vacate my land completely, although I don't feel I should have to. But I would love to get my kids out of here.
There are a dozen different herbicides commonly sprayed on forests in Oregon, including possible hormone disruptors like 2,4-D and atrazine.
Yep.
This Oregon Department of Forestry map shows the extent of privately owned timberland where herbicides are routinely sprayed by companies like Weyerhaeuser, Roseburg Resources, and Seneca Jones.
So I want you guys to all definitely watch the entire video. I don't want to take anything away from this individual, but to give you an example, like on something like this,
totally different.
I mean, it's got a whopping 9,000 views. This is pretty good, actually, compared to what I'm usually seeing, because it's very well put together. But this is 11 years old, guys. This is 11 years old. People barely even know about this subject still to this day. So as an example, glyphosate is the clear favorite. In California, the Forest Service used up to 16,740 pounds of that herbicide on 5,726 acres in 2018, which was roughly double, the prior year. Chad, bro. B. Baker, behave. you killing me, man. You killing me. Don't do that to me. Oh Lord. So another thing they say is, this dude said that basically its common weeds include cheatgrass, which sprouts on fire-scorched land and itself is a wildfire risk and a mile-a-minute weed. So like after you have a forest fire and then they go and they spray and they kill everything, and then cheatgrass grows up, that just that is like a really fast-moving, burning plant. That forest management is dangerously reliant on herbicide in the Pacific Northwest. And this is from Concerns Grow About Herbicide Use in Wildfires Wake. I think that, do I have that up there? I don't even have that up there. Here, look. That's from ENE News. And you can check that out. Concerns Grow About Herbicides Use in Wildfires Wake. So yeah, even after the wildfire, then they come in and they spray it again. Like just too much. Protesters try to stop aerial spraying of tree farm herbicides near Port something.
Protesters outside of Port Townsend tree farm say they were sprayed with harmful chemicals by a helicopter, but a state official on site says that none of the chemical mix ever hit anybody. A company called Pope Resources sprayed trees with herbicides like Roundup on Monday while people stood on the road with signs.
Those protesters want to stop the spraying of tree farms with those herbicides. King 5 environmental reporter Allison Morrow has more from both sides.
This is cell phone video given to King by protesters who tried to stop this helicopter from spraying herbicides over a tree farm.
We were under the impression that they would not spray people that were there. That if they saw people on the ground, they would not be spraying us, and they were.
Lissy Andrews was one of those protesters on site Monday. She says she left as the helicopter approached.
So I felt that it was too dangerous at that point as the chopper came closer and closer to us. The drift was hitting us, although the chopper was not directly over our heads.
The group of protesters began their battle months ago, hoping to stop Pope Resources from spraying herbicides like Roundup over their timberland.
And it's not a liquid like we might pour in a crack to kill a weed. It's aerated. It's coming as a mist. It went right into my lungs. I mean, I'm sure I had a lot of it in my body.
So I want to pause right here, and I want to give a personal story. And some of you, if you've been with the channel for a while, you already know this. But my wife and I moved in with her grandmother. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She was, near the end of her life. And we were going to take care of her until she passed away. And across the street, I have a video. You know what? let me see if I could find it real quick. I'll try to do this in the background. This may be tough, but there was this field across the street from us, and I'm pretty sure if I just type Apache, it'll come. Yeah, there it is. You can't make this up, guys. Here you go. Let's go to it. I'm gonna show you where I'm talking about real quick, and then I'll tell you what happened. So across the street, the same helicopters that everybody's complaining about on the West Coast, our neighbor paid for them to come out and spray all of his property on the back half to kill off everything but certain very tall trees so he could deer hunt there. So I'm watching this helicopter come up, zoom down, spray the entire field. He would like literally go up, turn around, and then come right back down and spray again, all the way down, up and down the freaking it was about a mile long worth of property. And so much of this mist was coming towards us that I told my kids, it's like, y'all get inside. I wanted to videotape it, and I'm sure like on one of my dead cell phones somewhere is a video of it, and if I can ever find it, I will definitely upload it, because it was one of the damnest things I ever seen. But I realized very quickly that it was pretty stupid for me to be out there, and it's very similar to how stupid this was, because this is the area I was talking about. It from my front yard. This is when we were staying with the grandmother, and this is the field. And as you can see, like, all the trees are gone. Okay.
That thing around and destroy this house in one shot. He could swivel that thing around and destroy this house in one shot.
Why is it it's training. They're training. The military, they train up there and drop bombs. You can hear them all the time. He's hovering right now. That's hard to do, right?
I'm sure that's got to be computer controlled as yeah, wave to him. Oh, he's gonna come show y'all. Right, he's gonna blow us up. Holy shit! Y'all look up. Come back here. Come back here. Come back over here. Come back over here.
All right, I ain't gonna lie. For a moment there, I really, you could hear it in my voice. I was like, oh, he's actually pointing the Hellfire missiles and the 30 millimeter cannon right at us. Like, this might be the last thing I see, because there would be nothing but a hole in the ground. But this is the property that they were spraying, and off in the distance you can see a tree line, and that's the adjacent property where they were not spraying. So all of this had recently grown back since the last time they sprayed, and literally killed all of the trees, all the everythings, as you know, just as far as the eye can see in each direction. So I've experienced it up close and personal, and it feels like an oily mist. And it's also pretty coincidental that this was about the same time that my thyroid swelled up so large that I ended up having to get it surgically removed. Coincidence, you tell me, but this is the property, and right there you can see the tree line off in the distance. But all of this is about a half a mile, you know, roughly from the road here to where this tree line starts, that had all been, you know, herbicided down. Which chemical they were using, I'm not sure. I'll throw that in chat so you guys can, because that's definitely not on the Substack. But yes, this was back in 2017? Yeah, April 2017. I had an Apache come say hello to me and my family. Interesting. So yes, I've experienced this up close and personal, what they're talking about, being sprayed. And, you know, I'll just jump to it down here a little bit further. I'll come back up, but these are all examples from the California Department of Pesticide and Regulations, where somebody screwed up and did exactly what they're talking about. In performing an aerial pesticide application, applied pesticide over non-target property while workers were present. Fined. Aerial pesticide application that drifted onto a non-target vehicle traveling on along a roadside, along the application site. Fined. Failed to perform aerial pesticide application in a careful manner. Fined. Aerial application of contaminated 2 individuals. Fine. Violated California and agriculture rules, blah, blah, blah. And conflict with the label that they aerially sprayed Imidin 79W to Tejocote orchard, a crop listed, not listed on the label. Okay. Aerial application in such manner that caused pesticide to drift into an adjacent apple orchard, exposing farm workers. Fined. Contaminating non-target property during an aerial application of pesticide. Fined. And you can go see all these. I just put a link directly to the page, so you can actually see all the different people that were fined. Now, this is just what the California Department of Pesticide Regulations has listed on their website of people spraying chemicals that ended up drifting off where they're supposed to be and onto people. But of course, the shills that we saw in that, the news article earlier, they were like, well, they claim that they were sprayed. And they claim they were sprayed, but we can assure you that nobody got hit by those helicopters up there. Meanwhile, this dude's like, I could feel it on my face. Like, you calling me a liar? And that's the way it is. Like, they brush this shit off. They just brush it off. Yeah, screw you. What does it matter what you think? You're the pest. Like saying in chat, you're the pest. Get out of our way. So the other way that the aerial spraying is one of the biggest ways. Another one that most people have never heard of is called hack and squirt. And the other one's called cut and treat, but you don't hear about this one as much because it actually requires more effort to actually cut the tree down. They just like to kill the tree standing. And this is really kind of creepy. It's just weird. One of the simplest and most effective techniques for removing select trees and large shrubs without cutting them down is called hack and squirt method, or bark injection. Quite simply, a manager hacks small cuts into the trunk of trees and squirts an herbicide solution into the cut. Cut and treat is another method where the entire tree is cut down with a chainsaw and the stump is immediately painted with herbicide. Yeah, Ample, I'll hit you up on Twitch, man. I appreciate it. Certainly will. So how to kill a tree, hack and squirt. I got a whole playlist on this, so you can check it out. And then this one is actually a lengthy PowerPoint, like presentation. You guys kind of got a sick sense of humor.
So this presentation by the National Association of Invasive Plant Councils for the National Invasive Species Awareness Week. Our first webinar today, Monday, is by Dr. Stephen Enlow. He is an associate professor, Agronomy Department, Center for Aquatic and Invasive Plants, University of Florida. Dr. Enlow has been involved with invasive plant research and extension for the past 19 years. He's worked throughout the western and southeastern United States, including California, Colorado,
whatever. He's got creds.
Results in trees that slowly die, but that can be subject to wind throw and they can drop limbs over time. So you don't want people picnicking under these trees. In general, we typically hack and squirt comes in when trees get too big for basal bark. Basal bark is a very efficient way of treating a lot of trees, especially small stem trees, 1 to 2. And that is where the history of hack and squirt evolved, from trying to go into hardwood stands and selectively remove those that they did not want. The idea of using hack and squirt for invasive plants is a much more recent concept that was just embraced and evolved from hack and squirt within the area of silvicultural forestry. The tools of hack and squirt are very straightforward historically. An axe, like you see there on the left, was utilized. Now much more commonly, please forgive me if I cough a little bit. I've had a bit of a mess in terms of my sinuses and health here lately.
Yeah, because you're hanging out, hacking and squirting freaking trees with pesticides and herbicides, and you're breathing that. It's no surprise you have respiratory issues, dude.
Lately, but I'll persevere and get through this the best I can without coughing. So the basic tools, simple hatchet on the right, and that is very widely
Bro's got lung disease.
Utilized today. Now, in addition to hatchets that you see there on the left of this picture, there's also a number of different types of other cutting blades that have been utilized.
I got the kukri, I got that one, I got that one, I have that one, and I have that exact one also. I have all six of those. These two look weird. I don't use those, but I own all of those.
Utilized for hack and squirt type treatments. So there's a wide range of machetes that are actually out there on the market and available. I can't even name them all, but you can see varying from a typically bush machete with a longer blade to something like a cane knife to a bolo machete, and you can find these types of short-handled machetes that are out there, but in my experience, they typically don't quite have enough weight to really do what you want to do easily or effectively. The reality is, whatever kind of tool you're using for hack and squirt, it's very important to keep it sharp. So if you're going out to a hardware store and buying tools, whether machetes, hatchets, you need to go ahead and sharpen them before you take them to the field. That's very important because using a dull machete or a dull hatchet
just real quick. It's already Jerry Garonsky. Doesn't Dana say that this is caused by DEW weapons? Yeah, there's a lot of really dumb people on the internet saying things like, you know, they're starting wildfires with lasers from space when, let's be real, $5 in a crackhead and you can start a wildfire. Way cheaper than lasers from space. And in fact, most of the wildfire breakouts that have happened have been climate activists who have been caught and arrested. Don't get me started. I'll make the next video about that. Swear. We'll just do mug shots of all these punk asses that were out there lighting fires. But good on you for pointing that out. Anyway,
operationally is not only difficult and exhausting, it also can become dangerous. As you can't get good clean cuts, you may have more glancing blows that can lead to applicator injury. So whatever the tool you use, keep it sharp indeed. But not that sharp. There's absolutely no reason to make them razor sharp so that you might be able to shave with it. We are cutting through wood. We are not cutting the hair off your face. So I know this is a ridiculous picture, but the point is you don't have to make them razor sharp so that they will split hairs and cut paper. But you do want to pay attention and keep your instruments sharp.
Anyway, I thought that was funny. You guys got to send
Additionally, some folks have utilized cordless drills. Excuse me.
Oh.
Cordless.
He needs to stop using those chemicals. Anyway, so this is a very lengthy presentation on it where he goes through everything, the types of cuts to make and, how you spray them, this is what we call overdoing it. Like, that's way too much. This is called girdling.
It doesn't require this much work. This is Chinese tallow tree that was girdled, and a girdle like this with a machete would literally take about 10 to 15 minutes per individual. Tremendous amount of work, and I like to avoid that where possible.
So yeah, you don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is real quick, just look at one, and I'm going I think this is the one. This is actually from Clemson University. It really breaks my heart because, you know, I had a lot of family that went to Clemson.
What's the greatest invention?
Ah, freaking advertise. Blocked. Deleted. Anyway, get through that. Is this the video? This is not the right video. This ain't the video I wanted to show you guys. There's a better one. Wrong one. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. So this guy's going to actually show you how it's done and kind of mock the guy who's doing it.
Probably the fastest, most target-specific, and economical way to knock out trees that are inhibiting your management goals. Hack and squirt, besides being probably one of the best named techniques in forestry, is
he loves the name. Hack and squirt, I love it. The name. Branding is everything.
Essentially that. Making a series of incisions using a hatchet around the stem of the tree, which penetrates the inner bark, exposing the sapwood, and makes a perfect pocket for herbicide application. Excellent. Nailed it. So right here. Boom. Troy loves this because he can move over many acres quickly. One hack, one squirt. All the way around the tree. The number of hacks will be determined by the herbicide you're using and the size and species of the tree. And again, the space between the hacks as well. Boom. Oop, easy. One hack, one squirt. Whoa. Example of over-application. That pocket is not that big. Troy, you're wasting money. Hack and squirt.
He's wasting money. And also, that's where, you know, leads to runoff. So the point of hack and squirt, the problem with hack and squirt is the idea that you're basically, you know, you're killing the trees and they're still standing up. So people are wondering why these forest fires are just getting out of control. When you've got dudes roaming through the forest, activists. Oh my God, that is, bro, that I used to be a hacktivist. Like, ooh, did I say that? No, I have never been, I swear I've never been a hacktivist. I don't know anything about that. I mean, what is a hacktivist? Like, you're really playing with the words there. Jace, that's pretty good. I love a good sense of humor. We have to laugh or we would cry because this shit is really depressing when you think about it. But yeah, they're just roaming through the forest, hacking at the bark, and then killing the tree standing directly up, which is absolutely insane. So here's an example of what it actually looks like, and we don't need the audio on this one, but the details pretty much say it all. Industrial Timberlands 2015 to observe hack and squirt forestry. Hack and squirt is a relatively new method, blah, blah, blah. The result is conifer dominant forest with millions of standing dead hardwoods. In this video, see the white trees are standing dead hardwoods, and you can see them here. You're going to see a nice clear picture. See all of that right there? All that right there? Those are dead trees. Now, you tell me that's not just ripe for wildfire. Look at that section right there. Just barren and dead. I mean, I was in Boy Scouts. That's the kind of stuff we hunt down to make fires, is dead, dry wood. And when you've got this much gray, dead, dry wood standing up, what do you think's going to happen if a wildfire happens? I mean, it's blatant. And I mean, you can look at all these freaking dead trees, man. It is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. This is in California, Mendocino County. Look at that shit. You want to tell me that a directed energy weapon killed all these trees? No. I'm putting into where conspiracy meets reality. That is what I'm all about. And this is a clear case of, look at how many freaking dead trees there are there. They're not just turning gray because they're old. They don't got, silver tipped hair like me. All right. Those are dead freaking trees. You cannot make it up. You cannot deny your lying eyes, but that entire mountaintop is covered in dead hardwoods because they want, a certain type of tree that they can forest for money. In most of the cases, that's what it is. In the case of California, they've even got all these environmental regulations where you can't even go into the forest to pick up dead wood. They won't even allow you to pick up the dead wood and clean it out, which I find really freaking crazy. So to reiterate this point, and we're going to get into the creepy part now, because I like to bring the receipts. So this is where I got very overwhelmed with the numbers of different types of chemicals that are used. Prepare for the creepy, because it's coming. Explosive tinder boxes. In drought-stricken west coast of the United States, poor forestry practices and monetary motivations are causing wildfires to burn hotter, move faster, and none of this is caused by CO2-based global warming or climate change. It's caused by fucking idiots who have been out there killing trees intentionally, either by aerial application or direct hack and squirt, killing trees, leaving them standing, and then, why is the wildfire moving so fast? It must be climate change. Bullshit. Straight bullshit, people. Now that you know, what will you do with this information? That's the real question. Spread the word. Spread the word, because this is real. There have been real activists on the ground fighting this for over a decade, and people still don't know. Meanwhile, I guess it's just cooler to go, full Alex Jones and say, something to the effect of, Jim Lee, I don't know why you're out here talking about glyphosate. Glyphosate, it's delicious. I mean, it may turn the frogs gay, but it's definitely directed energy weapons. I mean, I don't even know why we're even talking about this. This has nothing to do with herbicides. This has to do with the World Economic Forum, and they definitely have laser beams. In fact, right now through this television screen, laser beams are shooting out of my eyes and starting wildfires because I am a Manchurian candidate, fire lighting motherfucker, and you guys know this. You already know this. You know you're part of the satanic cabal that likes to light fires and just watch everything burn. And this is all about 5-minute cities and the global agenda to lock everybody down. And it has nothing to do with the freaking chemicals that Jim Lee's talking about, because he's a shill, and you guys all know that he's a shill. I mean, clearly, a guy sitting in his double-wide trailer is a shill, and that's why he's got, so many people working around him, and he's not, just doing this all by himself and, literally fucking in his bedroom. Come on, bro! Wake up, people! Wake up! Wake up! Oh, my God. But it's not just Roundup. It's not just Roundup. Anyway, it's the failure of humans who intervene in natural processes, spraying the forest with herbicides, killing standing trees, or chopping them down and leaving them on the forest floor the forest floor covered in dead wood, adding fuel to the inevitable fires. Get educated on your local forest. Find out who owns what they're doing with it. You just may learn that you also are being sprayed with chemicals or drinking water that has been poisoned by herbicides in a watershed near you. That is pragmatic solutions. Okay? Yes, right there in chat, promoting directed energy weapons has the cause, it makes us look silly. Dude, most of these things are to discredit you. I mean, it's like 90% of like Jesse Ventura talking about fucking HARP. Like, he didn't know the first thing about HARP. Like, holy shit. I got a whole sketch that's coming up. We're building a new show, okay, right now. And it's going to have different parts to it. One of them will definitely be, what would Alex Jones say? Just sneak preview. It's coming soon. We're working on the video cuts to go in between everything. But right now, everything's looking like it's going to look really effing professional. It's going to take time. I mean, just the, the stream is starting, took 8 or 9 hours to edit. And I'm going to save that surprise for later, but yes, it's coming in the future. What would Alex Jones say as a regular portion of the broadcast? But, it's not just Roundup, okay? So even though, nearly half of all planted acres of corn, soybean in the U.S. Are not fit for human consumption, okay? An average of almost 130 pounds of glyphosate herbicides are sprayed per square mile in the United States. Nueces County, I don't know if that's how you say it. Nueces County in Texas, 1,100 pounds sprayed per square mile. If you open this link up, you can come about halfway down. A potentially cancer-causing chemical sprayed on much of America's farmland. Here's where it's used the most. Scroll all the way down to here. They've got a map, and if you look at the map, you can actually see, like here, 500 pounds per square mile. And it gives numbers, 114 pounds per square mile. Going through all of these, I'm over here in Sumter County. Let's see. Sumter, South Carolina, 120 pounds per square mile. That pisses me off. Straight pisses me off. But then you get over here to, Shasta, California. Who lives in Shasta, California? Where have I heard that before? 1.41 pounds per square mile. This is only for agriculture, okay? This is an agriculture map. Glyphosate sprayed for agricultural purposes. This does not include what we're talking about in this video, which is forest fires. Spraying forests, all that sort of stuff. This is literally farming, growing food, okay? So to be clear, when you're looking at these numbers, that's all food. I just wanted to include it just for reference because, hey, somebody might ask about it. But when we're talking about aerial application of herbicide, the list of potentially deadly chemicals rises exponentially. Now, guys, I want you to know, this is where I got lost in a freaking rabbit hole. Because I'm going to tell you, going through all of these chemicals was insane. And some of this, even I was shocked to read, that these were things. So brace yourself for this part, because this ain't Roundup we're talking about. An example, this is from invasive plant control projects using aerial applications of herbicides. Scoping notice in Nevada. 13 herbicides could be available for aerial application on the HTNF lands in Nevada. 2,4-D amine indaziflum, aminocyclopracol. Yeah, I should probably stop while I'm ahead because I'm behind already. Aminopyrrolid, chlorosulfuron. I'm gonna keep going because this is too much fun. Clopyralid, glyphosate, aquatic glyphosate, imazapir, medsulfuron, methyl rimsulfuron, and triclopropyl ester B. All right, we're not going to read any more of those because, man, that was brutal. All right, look, I'm Southern. Them some big, weird, creepy words, and what can I do? I can find the information. I may not be able to pronounce it, but damn it, you can go Google it. And go get a material safety data sheet on it. You're probably not going to like what's in it. I know that much. But this is an example of California top 100 chemicals by pound statewide pesticide use. And you can see right here at the top, sulfur. Like, I was straight shocked when I saw that. Sulfur, number one, 38 million pounds. Now you compare that to what I just showed you, where they were saying, 100 pounds per square mile. This is 38 million pounds on 4.5 million acres. Mineral oil, the list goes on. Glyphosate's right here, 5 million and 4 million pounds. But we're talking about 38, 34, 9, 8, 8, 8, 5, 4, 3, metasodium, sulfurofluoride, and the list goes on. And if you actually look at the PDF itself, I only showed the first page of it because you come through this and you start to look down here. Then they have a whole nother page. I mean, these are all the different types of pesticides that they're spraying just in California. Just in California. So when that girl was saying, we asked them, not that. Not that. This girl, when she was like, well, they say, there's a list of chemicals they might be using. She's not exaggerating because, as you can clearly see here, they got a lot to choose from. I mean, they got a lot to choose from. That's not the only page. It just keeps going. And specifically, I was looking through this and just mind blown, mind completely freaking blown at the amount of chemicals. That this is just in California. What's reported to the California Department of Pesticide Regulation, CDPR, which I have up here. That's where I was pulling these from earlier. You can see it at the top there. Control home, California Department of Pesticide Regulation. You can go through their databases and they have all these things like the pesticide information portal, who's licensed to do it, product lookups, and all that stuff. I got more. This is the EPA registered herbicides available for control. And what the common name, the partial list, or trade names for them. Some of these actually, we saw in that the U.S. Air Force was using, like Oust and Plateau. These were all used by the U.S. Air Force in their spray operations. Arsenal's another one. Arsenal is one that is this one right here, Emma Zapier, which is known as Arsenal or Chopper. That is your chemical of choice for hack and squirt. So looking at these lists, it's pretty obvious. This is directly from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Service, herbicides. And you can see right here, I'm on fs.usda.gov. And it's got a whole bunch of caveats up here, of course, which are really freaking creepy because I only showed you the first page, which shows you, common name, trade name, like High Dep, Weedar, 64, Clean, Milestone. Milestone was another one the U.S. Air Force was using. So all of these are like the brand name. Roundup is the brown name. Glyphosate is the common name, the chemical. But if you go down through this page, then you get to another page that says, quick guide for treatment method by species. leafy spurge, spotted knapweed, you know, like the types of things you want to kill and what you kill it with. And then it gets to the creepy part. Oh, wait. Human health findings. And they have this thing called a signal word. Caution, warning, or danger. Now, you got to remember that the signal word matters. So what I'm going to do real quick is kind of cheat with this. You know what I should do? I should just save this real quick. Boom. I'm going to show it in folder. I'm going to open it with this so I can bring it up here. And that way when I do this, I can go down here and hopefully, no, it's not going to word wrap. Son of a bitch. I'm just going to copy it. And we'll just cheat and bring up, we'll bring up the good old Sublime text so I can make this really big. All right, so signal words. This matters. When you're looking at these, this is the important part. Herbicide label indicates the extent of toxicity with the signal word it carries. The signal word on the label applies to the most serious method or route of exposure. For example, if herbicide has an acute oral LD50 of 368, which triggers the word warning, and an acute dermal LD5 of greater than 2000, which triggers the word caution, and is severely or irreversibly corrosive to the eyes, meaning this will burn your freaking eyeballs out, which warrants the word danger, then the label will have the signal word danger. So it's going to take whatever the most severe danger level is. If it's danger, caution, or warning, if it meets any one of these criteria, they're going to use the worst label possible. So when you're looking through this and you see right here, product name, confront, danger, okay? Yeah, it'll burn your freaking eyeballs out, man. It's caustic to the skin. That 2,4D that they were talking about in that video, it's you know, it's literally danger, okay? That was mentioned in that video, the very first one we watched. Danger. I mean, seriously, like these, oh my God, bro. Like, I could keep going on this all day. Weedar 64, which has 2,4-D in it. Danger, Velpar, hexazinone, danger, you know, like warning on Scott's 30-50, 30-55 with confront. Yeah, I mean, you know, like this gets creepy real quick. You come over here. Does it affect your endocrine system? Probably. Persistence, mobility. Almost all of these have a very high mobility. Some of these say low, but they pretty much, you know, they get around. Let's just put it that way. So you look for these sorts of things, toxic to fish, you know, all that stuff. And then down here, I mean, bro, they got so many little caveats. The cancer column means all this. Reproductive column means this. Neurotoxicity, endocrine disruption column. Yeah, human health concerns galore. Studies probably super insufficient. And case in point, on the super insufficient, in 2015 FFS, EPA to place restrictions on the world's most widely used herbicide Roundup. Covered this April 4th, 2015 on ClimateViewer News, and it basically came down to this. The announcement comes amid recent findings by the WHO that glyphosate is probably carcinogenic to humans, a conclusion that Monsanto staunchly rebukes. So they've been in a back and forth, you know, in the lawsuit world, in the lawfare world, trying to say, no, the agency's official position is there is inadequate. EPA didn't agree, of course. The WHO said this. The EPA said no. And they actually upped the safe level of residue in food for glyphosate. They like doubled. It's like double to 10 times the amount that's allowed in the EU. So like everything we have, all the food we're eating in America has some residue of glyphosate on it at this point. Even if it's an organic farm, as we pointed out, in these, fines and lawsuits and all this, you have spray where it ends up in a organic apple orchard next door because morons and winds. So, this stuff is, as they would say, ubiquitous throughout the land, and you can't run from these chemtrails. The only thing we could do really is fight it. And that's why it's going to really require people getting more information on this. So to get more information, I put a little handy dandy section at the end here for the resource section. More resources on this, some links to that. If you're in California, holler at the CADS people. They got a cool website, Californians for Alternatives to Toxics. I saw something on here earlier. PG&E spraying herbicides throughout California. Now this is an interesting one, and we're gonna probably summarize on this, but I don't want you guys to see my whole. Ooh, I just grabbed the screen while dragging a screen. Top quality production value, best production value in the world, none better. My team, funded by the Illuminati, best production ever. Nobody's even close, not even close. Let me grab this real quick because I went and I took photos of this today to email to myself so that I could show you guys what's going on down here in South Carolina. And you may not have noticed this yourself, but you might after seeing this. So let's see. Bitch, download these pictures. I swear to God. New folder. Power lines. Let's call it that. Boom. And photos. Zip. And go to that. And unzip that. And bro, extract files here. Yes. Okay. Good Lord. So this is what I see on a daily basis here in Sumter, South Carolina. Tell me if you recognize this. Have you seen this yourself? All along the side of the street, this is what I'm seeing. Oh, that's a power line. Green trees in the background, green grass in the front, and all along here, the dead stuff near the power lines. For miles and miles in every direction I go, this is what I see. It looks like that. Now, let me know if in your neighborhood you've noticed this. Because this is the same thing. This is the power company in your local municipality driving down the street, hosing down the damn sidewalks near the power poles to kill anything and everything. Miles and miles and miles of driving around Sumter, through the county, and I notice this everywhere I go. Tell me if you've noticed this, and let me know in the comments if you've seen this in your area, because, some people just aren't aware. They don't look around. Why is that brown and everything else is green? Sumter is freaking gorgeous. Shangri-La, like everything's green. This is some of the densest forest you ever. This is between my property and the next property over. And it's just blatantly obvious that they just came along and hosed it down. I've only seen it one time in person where I actually saw them spraying everything down. But that's what they're talking about right here. PG&E spraying herbicides throughout California. Around power pole. It's right there. I mean, damn, bro. This is from 2010. Yeah. So, I mean, like, same thing. It's happening everywhere, apparently. And they're, around 2.5 million power poles, sprays herbicides to clear weeds and brush away for up to 40% of its 2.5 million power poles. We're getting sprayed everywhere. And that's the point of this video, is that, we can joke all we want about the word chemtrails. But at the end of the day, there are, in the playlist I have on this, there's literally like drones doing this. You want to see a crazy one just for the road? Check this out. Like, what even is this right here? I mean, like, this is like just creepy, bro. I was surprised to see this one. Where's it at? Bro got a hoss ass truck.
Objectives. MRM is equipped with the most up-to-date herbicide application technology. Our herbicide applicators use the latest in GPS-guided application technology with GPS-guided flow meters and rate controls, yielding the most accurate herbicide application available. On-screen uploading of GIS mapping data and real-time GPS guidance yields the most precise application coverage, while also protecting against off-target applications. Call and let our professional staff assist you with your forestry herbicide application today.
Give us a call, and we'll take our big bobcat-looking sumbitch out there, and we'll just hose down your whole freaking forest, boy. It's just crazy. I mean, it's absolutely freaking crazy. Spraying with drones and helicopters. They've got a chemtrail spraying drone ready to go. Here we go, buzz. Let's just pop it out and pump it up and spray it around. You know what I'm saying? I mean, got the bobcat back there. This is in Kentucky. It's everywhere. It's freaking everywhere. There's their chemtrail helicopter. Ready to rock, bub. Fill me up, buddy. I'm ready to go give it another run. See you in a minute. Had a barbecue ready. Jeez. That is your close-up of, the chemtrail helicopter. And it's, crop dusting, but hey, we all know about, everybody's heard of crop dusting. It's unbelievable to know that they're doing this in our forests. Like, to me, I didn't realize how big it was. China has a drone with a flamethrower. No, we got better than that, bro. Chat. See this thing real quick. Drone with fireballs. You think that's crazy? Chat be like, China got remember Suspicious Skies 3045 says, remember China drone with flamethrower. Yeah? You think that's creepy? Check this out. Firebombing drone keeps firefighters safe in prescribed burn. It'll drop 400 tiny fireballs. I mean, it literally is a fireball dropping drone. Can't make this stuff up. Every day it's getting crazier. GovTech, I'll put the link in chat. Yeah, it's just crazy. Speaking of crop dusting, I crop dust my daughters regularly, especially if they're on the couch. It's like, ooh, run on through, and then like, oh my God, Dad, what was that? But them kind of chemtrails are fun. They're, it's good fun, go by and, give them a nice Dutch oven, get in the bed real quick, drop one, throw the sheet over top. But, there's nothing really that funny about. Try to make it funny, try to make it fun, but at the end of the day, this is a problem. And when people don't know about this sort of stuff and they go off on the whole, directed energy weapons and all of this, it's chemtrails, it's the commercial airplanes, it's the secret government planes making clouds in the sky that are causing forest fires, and they don't know anything about any of this stuff, then you got to go, we're doomed. Like, we're freaking doomed. And on that, particularly uplifting moment, I'm going to conclude this video and just say, we got chemtrails coming from the Air Force with the disease vector control and herbicide programs. We got chemtrails coming from all these private entities and the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Forestry Service, from state providers to local private companies that are doing it because of logging. You got people that are killing trees for deer hunting, invasive species. There's one last really creepy link down at the bottom if you guys want to see it. I meant to bring this up. You can look these up by your state, and what's called the National Pesticide Information Resource System, which I gave a link to. So, for example, we've been crapping on California this whole time. So just put in the state California right there, and then scroll down here and hit search, and it'll bring up a list of all. This is National Pesticide Information Retrieval System. And it'll bring them up with their EPA registration number, and you'll see their toxicity level things here. Caution. So we're looking for the word danger. And there we go. Danger. Will Robinson, danger. There's another one. Danger, danger, danger. That's that 2-4 right there. 2-4 DB 200 herbicide. EPA company, Aceto Life Sciences LLC. Registration expiration date 1969. Okay, and then it says year 2024. That's confusing, but anyway, they've got an actual phone number for the company that makes the stuff right there. So do with this information what thou wilt. But regardless, when he said that it wasn't just a liquid, it felt like something else. Emulsified concentrate, meaning, something in like an oil. There's all kinds of different stuff. But, again, Aceto Life Sciences. Here's another one. It's called Danger, and it's called Mitomax. But, so far, all of these seem to be Aceto Life Sciences. What is that all about? Danger. Zep. Really? Like, I used Zep when I was cleaning cars at like one of my first jobs. But anyway, impregnated materials. Not even going to go there. But yeah, you can just flip through this and look at all of the creepy chemicals that they use as pesticides in your local state, which are, along with their EPA registration numbers and, all the things about it. So have fun with that, because like I said, the rabbit hole got really deep really quick, and there was no damn way I would be able to go through and make a list of all of these. So, dig in. And then finally, over here, I thought I'd seen it all, and then I saw this. I gotta show you all this. So then there's not just a bunch of chemicals. How about they release viruses, like custom-made viruses to kill pests, for pesticide control. U.S. Forest Service bringing viruses to a forest near you, and it says that the agent nucleopolyhedrosis virus (NPV) that causes the diseases are bacteria, fungi, and viruses, among others. Research on this, that basically Cause a considerable mortality in the tussock moth larvae. Yeah. Biocontrol 1. Jip check. Just kind of creepy. I mean, slightly creepy, right? Virus products for pesticide management and coordination on the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Forest Service. That's delicious. And this is one from back in the day on my website, and I know none of you have heard of this. So this is one for the ages. And if you want to talk, this is one of those articles that I wrote to basically tell people, look, chemtrails are real. Take it, like it, lump it, or leave it. Because you cannot argue with what I'm about to show you. Let's just put it that way. So here we go. And I'm going to leave. This is going to be the last thing I show because it's getting late. And man, I've been through a hell of a day. Anyway, so after 9/11, they started to talk about, they being the United States Army Chemical Corps and, those people making what are called calmatives or chemical weapons, harassing agents like tear agents, vomiting agents, malodorants, incapacitating agents like psychological agents, other incapacitating agents, lethal agents, blister, blood, choking, and nerve agents, and then calmatives. The Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate mentions the use of calmatives, and you can actually see this on the sunshine.org website, on archive.org. Non-lethal weapons research in the U.S., calmatives and malodorants from 2001. And this basically was a website that had a lot of crazy information on it that was, gotten from FOIAs and all that information. So anyway, they had the Joint Non-Lethal Warfare Directorate's Narco Airways presentation where they talked about placement of incapacitant aerosol generators on board planes, as well as injectable pharmaceuticals unit outside the cockpit door. You can't make this stuff up. Here it is right here. Injectable pharmaceuticals or tasers by the pilot's door. This was right after 9/11. And they were like coming up with all kind of different ways. Like, if there's terrorists on a plane, what are we going to do? Well, we could use a smoke generator. How about an incapacitate agent generator that can put a chemtrail fog inside the plane? Entanglement net, like literally put a net that covers the entire roof and just drops on everybody. This ain't Spider-Man, bruh. But anyway. Then there was the gay bomb, which actually won the Peace Prize, which is this is hilarious. I wonder if this website's still even up. The IG Nobel Peace Prize for just some of the dumbest things ever invented. But yeah, the gay bomb was actually a thing. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. The so-called gay bomb that will make enemy soldiers become sexually irresistible to each other. Reference: harassing, annoying, and bad guy identifying chemicals. Wright Laboratory, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, 1994. It's a real thing. Like, you would think that it was a joke, but it's not. And that's just the fact that this is actually, like, this is the FOIA straight from the military on a freaking gay bomb. Like, oh my God. So anyway, this is a peek inside the Joint Non-Lethal Weapon Directorate Chemical Weapons Program. So if you're wondering about chemtrails and chemical weapons, these are all the places that at the time the Sunshine Project in 2002 was mapping all of this out. They were showing all these things. And these are all of the biosafety labs, aka bioweapons labs. So if it's a BSL level 4, red icons, and then the red icons with the blue dot are under construction. These are all the bioweapons labs across America. Recent release or other exposure. And note the one right over here by Plum Island. I saw somebody in the chat earlier mentioning weaponized Lyme disease coming out of Plum Island. Yeah, I said that like 12, 15 years ago. But this is the one that I wanted to specifically talk about that literally is right on topic of what we're talking about today, is herbicides. This is Agent Orange modern day. Agent Green and the drug war. Biological weapons are being developed to kill illicit crops of coca, opium, poppy, and cannabis in forced crop eradication programs. The pathogenic fungi were developed principally by the U.S. for use in narcotics producing areas globally, but especially in Asia and South America. This is modern day Agent Orange, run by our government, and you're never going to hear anything about this anywhere else. The agents threaten to legitimize agricultural biowarfare, are environmentally unsafe, and threaten wild plants and agriculture and fragile and biodiverse ecosystems. They also endanger human health and, most importantly, the global ban on biological weapons from the Sunshine Project. And just so you know, I'm not making this up. Everything I do has links, so you can actually come here and Agent Green, U.S. Biological Weapons Project that refuses to die, showing the F-oxysporum here. This stuff, like I dig hard on archive.org because that's where you find all the good stuff, the stuff that got deleted from the internet. But basically, these are called myco-herbicides in Agent Green. And you can see that in 1989 through 90, Texas and U.S. farmers report numerous outbreaks of illness among pigs and horses, testifying fumonisin concentrations in corn-based feed as high as 126 parts per million. Cameron County, Texas, neural tube birth defects begin to rise, primarily driven by anencephaly, which halts brain development. This increase is not noted until a year later. Now it is blamed on the effects of fusarium epidemic in corn. U.S. Food and FDA issues draft guidelines for maximum levels of fumonisin allowed in food. In a letter to federal officials, Texas Department of Health worries that the levels may be too high for people to consume corn as a dietary staple, especially Hispanic populations. 2002, December 12th. You can't make this up. Representative John Mike of Florida brings up his desire to restart the fusarium mycoherbicide program in the U.S. House hearing titled Americans' Heroin Crisis, Colombian Heroin, and How We Can Improve Plan Colombia. You can't make this stuff up. So Agent Green was part of what was called Plan Colombia to kill cocaine crops in Colombia, South America. Not Columbia, South Carolina, South America. And you can see that here. And this is the original link to Plan Colombia in the C-SPAN video, which no longer exists, obviously. I highly doubt it. No. Oh, it's an RM file. I gotta save that. 154 bytes. That ain't shit. Anyway, that's it's back in the days, man. Real-time media. Real-time media. You had to be there. It's old internet stuff. But anyway, so that's my story on that, and I'm sticking to it. This is F-oxysporum, showed in different plants like cotton, watermelon, the list goes on. And, then there's the zinc cadmium sulfide spraying nationwide. So chemtrails have existed in the past. They do exist today. There are still secret government programs to do things like spray fungus on cocaine crops. That was as late as 1990. That cocaine, that Agent Green migrated from South America and Colombia, where they were trying to kill the cocaine crops, all the way through Mexico into Texas, ended up in the corn, ended up in the brains of babies and cattle. And the FDA said, let's come up with an acceptable amount for what's a safe level for you to be eating this crap, you know? And that's just disgusting. So that's the big picture. That not only are herbicides, you know, these pesticides being sprayed on us, that they're going out and hacking, squirting trees down, that the military is doing it as well. And there's the secret programs that are literally for agricultural warfare that are identical to what they did in Vietnam with Agent Orange, that harmed so many of our troops and so many Vietnamese. And there's no repercussions whatsoever for these people. In most of the cases that I cited, where somebody, you know, sprayed a bunch of chemicals in California, the average fine was $1,000. That's completely unacceptable, especially if it causes long-term damage to somebody. But hey, little slap on the wrist, $1,000 fine. You can go back to doing it. That's sad, but that's the world we live in. And now you know, knowing is half the battle. It's what you do with it that matters. So please use the information here. Like the video, leave me a comment. Have you noticed brown streaks down the sides of your roads near all the power poles? Have you seen these helicopters or drones even flying around just dumping chemicals everywhere? Because it matters. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's your obligation to push back on that. But when you push back, remember to attack ideas, not people. Please share this video, share the article on Substack. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. You can subscribe to all my stuff and support the channel on connect.climateviewer.com. Love you guys, mean it. Been a hell of a long day, and I barely even got this one out before I have to go back to work tomorrow morning. It's now 11:26. I have 30 minutes before I go to bed. Good night, people. If this video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.
Kids are impressionable. That's why here at this station, we watch the programs and commercials your child watches carefully. He may see bad guys, but not in the role of heroes. And he'll learn that crime doesn't pay. Because your child's welfare is our concern, too. That's part of our code.
Better than anything you can get without a prescription. Anything. It's the best.
I can do anything good, better than